Hello, Liverpool fans, and welcome back to Talking Reds. I am your host for tonight's evening show, Ryan. Well, we're going to start off with a little bit of breaking news this last 20 minutes, half an hour, around Tyler Morton. Now, it was reported earlier on in the day by, I believe it was Paul Joyce first, that Leon are interested in Tyler Morton, and obviously we know Liverpool have got an interest in Malik Fofana, and something could work between the two clubs there. He has now reported in the last half an hour that Leon had tabled an offer of around £10 million. Liverpool rejected that offer, looking for more of a deal in excess of £10 million. They believe it's close to the £15 million mark. Now, I was with an agent a couple of days ago that knows Tyler Morton, and he said to me that he is looking for a move away from the club. And the only real suitors so far that had shown an interest to Liverpool had been West Ham. Now, it's quite interesting that Leon have now come to the forefront, especially around the news with Malik Fofana to go into Everton and rejecting Everton and looking for a Champions League club, and Liverpool could be in that conversation. So yeah, just an interesting one to start off the evening show. Big up, Jen. How are we? Nice to see you again. Remember, guys, as always, please, as you're coming in, like the stream. If you like Talking Reds and you're new around here, then subscribe, because this is your place for Liverpool content. And feel free to obviously chat to us in the chat, and we'll talk about all your topics. But yeah, Tyler Morton, bid rejected. I personally think it would be a really good move for Tyler. He'd go to a situation where they're a little bit older, that midfield at Leon, and he'd have the chance to really push for a starting spot. It'd be a new league, probably a slightly slower league that maybe suits Tyler's football. A club that have got aspirations of obviously trying to get back to France's elite, of playing in the Champions League, and challenging for the league on a more consistent basis. And he could be part of that. He's a really good age. Liverpool would be receiving a half decent fee for a player that doesn't really fit in and around the squad next season. And if it sweetens any kind of deal that we can do for Malik Fofana, if and when Liverpool move forward with that interest, then again that's another bonus to it as well. They're coming together like a jigsaw, loving out trajectory. It is. It looks like it's. It looks like it's on a positive. It looks like it's going the right way, and the movements today around Alexander Isak are, in my opinion, quite deafening. So we're going to go over that in this evening's show. And same again, if you're just coming in, as always, please like and subscribe. We're on that road to 1.5k. You guys have been amazing getting us to 1,000 subscribers, and it's not stopped there. So that continued support, honestly, means the absolute world to us. But yeah, so Alexander Isak. Newcastle this morning released, I believe it's their brand new third kit. Could be the away kit, might be wrong, but I think it's their brand new third kit. Now, Alexander Isak was not part of that video and photo launch for the kit. Weren't part of the home one, weren't part of the away one. I tell a lie, he was part of the away one, the blue one with the orange kind of like the orange badge. But we'll get onto that in a second, because he's now been taken away from that. But he weren't involved in today's kit launch. Yeah. Now, if you're Newcastle and you're Alexander Isak, you're going to be part of that. That's like Liverpool releasing the Adidas kit on Friday and Mo Salah not being in any of the photos. It makes no sense whatsoever, unless you've been instructed to not involve him. Now, it could be a simple case of, look, the news around him at the moment, the situation, we'll just leave that out. We'll ignore that. We won't bring any more attention to ourselves. However, if you're not for sale stance and Alexander Isak staying was an absolute, this is it, it's a definite, he's not going anywhere, then you'd put the photos out, you'd put him in the kit launch. Because then if people started making noise of being like, why is he in this? Like, look at what he's doing. Why is he in this right now? The club can easily respond with, well, look, he's going nowhere. He's our player. He's not for sale. He's not going anywhere. Then a Newcastle fan spotted in and around the stadium that his photo has been removed, I believe, from the photos outside the club stadium, and also within like the club shop. So Newcastle have started to remove him from, any kind of promotional stuff. Makes entire sense. If he's not going to be a player here for the future, you remove him. Do you remember when Luis Suarez was in talks with Barcelona, or there was rumours about it, asking for a move? Liverpool released the 2015 Warrior kit, and then we removed him off the website. As Derek says there, it does speak volumes. Now, the situation then got even more conspicuous because what appeared to be Alexander Isak's home in Newcastle was spotted on Rightmove up for rent, and it was £6,750 pounds per calendar month, which obviously is a hefty fee that's up for rent there. Which again fuels the speculation. Pointing to really positive, potential developments. Now, Kenny here says 110 million plus Harvey Elliott for Isak. Would be happy with that as a Toon fan. I believe Newcastle are interested in Lucas Paqueta now that he's avoided his betting charges. So that could add some creativity, and Harvey Elliott would do the same. I do genuinely think, though, there is a chance that Harvey Elliott stays. Especially his recent comments around linking up with, Florian Wirtz and things like that. But on the Newcastle one with Isak, I think removing him from the media is pretty obvious. There's then also been reports today that he's gone AWOL. Newcastle's owner is in England. He is back in the country. And apparently Alexander Isak has gone AWOL, not turning up for training, doing his own individual plan at home. Obviously the club, because he is contracted, the club have a duty to put on sessions for him, whether it's group sessions with the 21s or it's one-to-one stuff. They have a duty of care to do that. They have done that, and he has refused to go. And then there was murmurings and talks of Liverpool and Newcastle have already agreed in principle a £130 million deal ready to go through when Newcastle find their replacement. And it appears as though they've made developments in the last couple of days on Benjamin Sesko, and they've also said that they're still interested in Johan Visser. What's his name? You guys might be able to find it. I think it's Michael Douglas, who is a journalist, like a quite good journalist for Newcastle, mentioned the other day that they might even still sell the striker without bringing in a replacement if they think that's what's best for the club. Now, Alexander Isak making this AWOL approach and pushing even harder and ready to hand in an official transfer request might just be a case of he doesn't have faith in Newcastle completing deals because of how poor their summer has been, and that the only way he can get out of the club now is by literally forcing his way out. That would make sense if he's worried about their current business and that they might not get in the replacement for him to come. But I want to touch on more about the agreement in principle, because I personally think that is true. Speaking from what I've seen online, speaking from my experience in football and how these things work, and obviously knowing quite a lot of professional footballers myself through work, etc. I sort of know how these things happen. The media are always, days, sometimes weeks behind what is actually going on. So yeah, I genuinely think the agreement in principle, only a verbal, not a written one. I honestly think it's true. Just grab a sip of my drink. Let me know in the comments if you think that's the case. Liverpool have an agreement in principle with Newcastle, not written, just a verbal. Because I believe so. And if you're not chatting in the chat, again, please, if you can, like and comment. like and subscribe, as it honestly helps so much. The support, it's incredible for us. Like you'll never understand just how much we appreciate it. Forever LFC says, wait till Friday. I've said this a few times. When the Adidas sponsorship goes live, Isak's signing will break. I also predicted the 1st of August, forgetting that it was the kit launch. But I think I've changed my mind on that now. Toon fan, definitely. Who's that? Who's a Toon fan? Definitely Kenny. Hello there, Prakash. You'll never walk alone. Love that. I wish Restream would actually show you the emojis. Hand pink waving. I will wave for you, Prakash. I will wave for you. Yeah. So I sort of changed my mind on this one about like not necessarily announcing the contract, but also like announcing in the media that a deal is agreed or something like that. I think Liverpool are going to want their full focus on that 1st of August to be about the kit launch, as it seems as though there's a chance that Liverpool are going to release the home kit and away kit at the same time because of the lateness of the deal being completed with Adidas, like when the actual start date is. So they've not got a lot of time to roll it out. I think Adidas would be pretty upset if they have spent, thousands and thousands and thousands of pounds and loads of time and effort in creating this, brand release for it to then be overshadowed by, by Alexander Isak. Because don't get me wrong, it'd be brilliant to see him in the new strip, or if you were announcing it like that, then that's different. But looking at the day, we're on Tuesday right now. Unless Liverpool announce agreed deal tonight and he gets in his medical and he is signing and we can release that on Friday, I don't see how that one quite works. So yeah, I would suspect that nothing will actually come out on Friday apart from the news around the kit. Maybe really late at night. But I think Adidas are going to want full focus on that kit. I'd imagine personally. Isaac's putting in cash for gold with his Carabao Cup medal. Says he's getting an upgrade. Do you know what I found quite funny? Not in a disrespectful way to Newcastle, just more in the sense of how they're like not getting their head around why Alexander Isak is doing this. Craig Hope, their reporter, who has been unbelievable on this story, by the way, and been first to everything, literally said Alexander Isak doesn't want to play in the Premier League and the Champions League. He wants to win the Premier League and the Champions League. And you got Newcastle fans who are like, how's he doing this? We give him everything. We did a massive banner for him. We sing "Gimme, gimme, gimme a striker from Sweden." Like, we love and adore him. Why is he doing this? Because he wants to win the Premier League and the Champions League. So then they go, yeah, but look at Trent. Why was you all butthurt over Trent? But what other reason has Trent got to leave Liverpool apart from the fact of that he wanted a new challenge? Which that part of it, if you were on social media, all Liverpool fans were going, look, completely understand that you want a new challenge, no problem at all. Go and explore that, no issue. But don't drag the club along like a prick. Don't lie to us into our face. Don't take your people for an absolute ride. At least Alexander Isak is being dead honest and clear with you Newcastle fans. Someone posted he has to put his home up for rent. If that's true, yeah, we were on about that before, Prakash. So it was put up. It was put up that he was renting his house out, and then it was quickly taken down. I can tell you right now, there is nobody signing up for a £6,500 a month rent in seconds. So that has definitely been taken down by somebody in Isaac's team who was not supposed to put that up. So yeah. Most Newcastle fans want Isak gone now. Don't believe the media. We don't want an unhappy player. No one would. I've seen that turn as well, Kenny, as I'm sure most of us have. And I'd completely be in the same scenario as you, as we were with Trent. You know, it's completely understandable. Um, if he's kicking up a fuss like this and he doesn't want to play, having a Ollie Watkins who wants to be there is far better than having an Alexander Isak who's not going to want to go to training, not going to want to support his teammates. You know, sometimes you do have to just kick the you just have to throw your toys out of the pram. It's just part of the situation, unfortunately. You are a big fan of Elliot, aren't you, Kenny? Thank you very much for their LFC. Always supporting. Give the channel a like, folks. It's free. Just a push of a button. Yes, it is. Very true. As Damo says there. We've been in this situation more times than we care to admit. And unfortunately, sometimes you just got to swallow the pill. It hurts. You do it, you get rid, you move on. My bigger concern, if I was a Newcastle fan, would be under this ownership so far, it seems like it's one step forward, two steps back every time. You know, this was the summer for Newcastle. They could have still, by the way, they could have still sold Isak and had an unbelievable summer. It was there for them to do it, and they've not acted appropriately. Nunez to stay. There's a reason the football going Anfield faithful love him. He's on fire at the minute. Maybe it's his key to unlocking Nunez. Well, Lewis Steele, who the journalists have been given access to Liverpool training over the past couple of days. Lewis Steele said that apparently Darwin Nunez has looked unbelievable in training the last couple of days and looks like the £80 million player. I would suspect that's got more to do with the fact that his mind is elsewhere and he knows he's leaving rather than playing for a place at Liverpool, in my opinion. For the player who had an injury that put him out of the game, he was very quickly back into training. And apparently the intensity that they've been training at has been unbelievable as well. So, yeah, I wouldn't... I don't know if I buy that one. And then did anyone see the video of like Van Dijk and others sort of going up to Nunez and Diaz after the game on the weekend? And they were like, it sort of looked like they were saying like, you know, goodbye and giving them hugs and stuff like that. Like, I think it's pretty nailed on that once Alexander Isak comes in and we get home from the Asia tour, Nunez will be off. This could go on another 3 weeks unless we can get at least two players in. We need two centre forwards. Just saying, well, correct, mate. I mean, at the end of the day, Newcastle are going to need to replace Isak, whilst also needing to replace Callum Wilson. You know, there's talks of still after a midfielder, centre back. You're looking short. You've got a similar situation to us where centre back choice isn't too bad, but then you know the injuries around them. You know, Ibu Konate's fitness, Joe Gomez's fitness are a concern. Looks like Sven Botman's going to have one of those injury concern careers, so you need a centre half. The keeper situation, man. Getting Aaron Ramsdale is mental, but it's just because you've handled the window so poorly that you're now left with scraps. Really, really disappointing. If I was a Newcastle fan, and selling Isak could be the last of my worries. I'd like us to give Darwin one more season, but I just can't see him staying, to be honest. I hope I'm wrong, though. Don't see it myself. United in for Sesko just to derail Isak, then it's Days. United in for Watkins instead, just made me laugh. Yeah, I don't think United's interest in Sesko ever actually was going to go anywhere. They were never, ever, ever going to be able to afford that fee for a striker. They've already spent 140 million or close to on two number 10s or two players that they're going to play as like number 10s. That's without solving the goalkeeper issue, the centre back issue, the centre mid issue. Like, Man United's business is just absolutely mind blowing the way that they run. It genuinely like makes me chuckle. It if you were around on Twitter years ago, when was it now? It'd have been a long time, and someone made a good point of that. Man United are like a what was it? They're like is it like a stripper? I think they said like something like they're like a stripper where their tits are already big enough, but they keep spending money on them whilst everything else looks like an absolute car crash, something like that. And yeah, like Sesko and Buemo and Kuna is like sound, yeah, decent signings. Front line's probably got a few more goals in, but then you turn around behind them and you look at the mess that's being left. Yeah, it's no. That's an interesting one from Jen. Darwin would be a perfect Villa one striker system if Watkins leaves. If Watkins leaves, what are they actually doing, Villa up front? Have they brought anyone in as a striker? Because John Duran's gone. Obviously, Watkins would leave. Who else have they got? Morgan Rogers obviously was a brilliant, like really important part for them. They brought Donny Marlin in, but he's more of like a wide player than a striker, isn't he? Like, what would Villa actually do? I don't get what they'd actually do is for a striker. The yeah, I don't know. Right, I want to talk as well whilst we're on here. I want to talk about the centre back situation with Liverpool, as I think we're all getting a little bit worried about that one. I don't know about you guys, but I definitely am. Um, David Lynch was with the squad as part of obviously the media team that got given access, and he mentioned that he spoke to people around the club who said they're actually happy with the centre back situation, and the Endo and Gravenberg can both play there, so Liverpool aren't worried. He said obviously that doesn't sound great. Personally, I think it's more a scenario of Liverpool trying to air confidence rather than letting it be known. Oh yeah, we're desperate for a centre half. Because then any centre back you go for, then it ends up doubling the price. Um, there's interest in Mark Gay, interest in Charlie Cresswell has now also been reported. The centre back from Toulouse. I'm not. I'm not sure if Jarell Hatto is. I'm not sure if Jarell Hatto is one that they really want to push through due to the fact of that if they were, I think they'd have gazumped Chelsea. Could be a situation where they're letting Chelsea do all the groundwork. We come in and match the bid, but I don't know if the club are convinced on him. I know Virgil has been pushing him a lot to the recruitment team. That has been reported that Virgil van Dijk is a massive fan. But Virgil van Dijk obviously is a player. He doesn't work full time in recruitment. He's a full time footballer, and he'll have a brilliant understanding, of course. But there must be something or some reason why the club aren't making a move and they're letting Chelsea have a free run at the player. Um, I don't know. It is concerning me the fact that we've not really been linked to that many centre halves. See you later, Kenny. Um, it would be better. It would be better if it was just over and done with, wouldn't it, for everybody involved? So yeah, fingers crossed that happens soon. Tafsir says no harm in winning every game 5-4 like under Klopp when he came in. If you're on about United, that season under Klopp where we just went full metal against teams, we finished 8th. So it wouldn't be. I mean, to be fair, it'd be a massive improvement for Man United, but maybe you're right. Actually, just go hell for leather and finish 8th. Yeah, is it concerning you guys the lack of centre halves? Obviously, we seem to have a strong interest in Mark Gay, but I've said I think Liverpool are are playing the Mark Gay one where we know the closer it gets to the deadline of the window, the more chance you've got of Crystal Palace budging on their valuation, because the second that transfer deadline goes, there goes 15 million. The second the January transfer window goes, there goes anything, nothing. Player comes to Liverpool or Chelsea or wherever he goes for free then. So I don't know if we're just waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to the end of the window to apply that pressure to Crystal Palace, because Mark Gay clearly is the first choice of senior centre halves. We do have some decent youth coming through. Wellity Lucky is a good centre half at the club. Again, though, it's too soon, way too soon to be putting that on them. Could be an agreement there with some Italian teams for a centre half. Unfortunately, the only centre back that we seem to be interested in him from Italy, is the English lad Cresswell from Toulouse, Charlie Cresswell. So yeah, talking Reds, I will. Oh yeah, you'll be back, brilliant, Ken. Match day 2, electric. I tell you what, if Alexander Isak joins Liverpool after everything that's gone down like this, and starts at St James's Park for Liverpool, tell you what, you want to be careful going and being an away fan going to that game. Definitely don't turn up in a Liverpool kit. Please like, share, subscribe if you are new. Let's see if we can get the channel to 1.2k tonight. Now that would be incredible if we got to 1.2k tonight. I mean, it's simple, really. The more likes our lives get, right, and the more subscribers Talking Reds get, the more chance Alexander Isak has of joining Liverpool. That's just where the universe foresees it. So the more you like, the more you chat with us, the more you share, the more you subscribe, the more that accelerates the footballing gods to push Alexander Isak to Liverpool. You know, I don't write the rules. They just are what they are. Manchester City have announced James Trafford, who was Newcastle's first choice goalkeeper signing, and now they've pivoted towards Aaron Ramsdale. Newcastle fans now should probably be put on depression watch, because that is a rough one. A little one about the academy recruitment. Will Wright. If you don't know who Will Wright is, he is a 17-year-old striker who has been playing for Salford. He's been banging in the goals for Salford's under 21s. He has been recently moved up to the first team. Now, one of my old players, and I was with him the other day actually, because I've been coaching him recently. He was Salford's goalkeeper last season with Will Wright in the under 21s. So he's good friends with him. And I spoke to the keeper about Will a couple of weeks ago, who said that he's absolute heart is set on Liverpool. He's desperate to go to Liverpool. That then obviously looked like it was in jeopardy when Arsenal agreed a fee. Spoke to him again, and he said, "Look, he won't agree personal terms with Arsenal. He's desperate to go to Liverpool." Thankfully, over the past couple of days, Liverpool have matched Arsenal's 200k offer, rising to 400k, and he has now completed his medical with Liverpool and is a Liverpool player, set to start the season as Liverpool's under-21s frontman at 17 years of age, who is a top talent. I didn't come across him myself last season with Morton, as I don't work with that age group. But from the people that I know in football, and from the people who know him, who actually know Will, say he's a brilliant lad, absolutely top lad, but more importantly, he's a goal scorer. Just knows where the back of the net is. Might not be the best of dribblers, might not be the flashiest of players, but just absolutely bangs the ball in the back of the net for fun. It is, mate. It is the blonde-haired kid from Salford. So yeah, check him out. Maybe give him a little search on Twitter. I know people have been throwing his highlights around. Have a little look on YouTube. I don't know about you guys, but I get really excited about youth signings, because, you know, naturally, because I work in that line of work, you know, I've either played against them, or I've come across them, or I know people in the game who know them. Like I knew a few people who knew Rio Ngamoa before he signed. So, you know, I like it. It gets me excited to see these potential players that come into the academy, and see how they can do. And Liverpool have made massive strides this summer behind closed doors to try and improve that under 18s and under 21s, because last season it was a shambles. There's still a few players in the club who are really highly rated who are pursuing moves away for when that scholarship decision comes. But hopefully with Liverpool making improvements, we can change their mind and convince them. But yeah, we'll have to see. Right, it is only a short one tonight. I do apologise, as I have been at work all day, and the lads on the channel, we've got busy weeks this week, so we're trying our best to fit the streams in between our personal lives and bring you the content, because we don't want you missing out on anything, especially whilst it looks like it's going to be a huge week regarding the Alexander Isak story. Beefy's just popped in as well now. Good evening, mate, for our little debrief. So let's talk about today's events in backwards order. Tyler Morton, bid rejected by Liverpool from Lyon, thought to be around £10 million. Liverpool edging more for £15 million. Liverpool have agreed a deal with Salford of 200k, rising to 400k with add-ons for young star Will Wright. The 17-year-old has played for the first team at Manchester City away in the FA Cup, bagged goals in pre-season, and will come into Liverpool into the under-21 setup. Alexander Isak has had his house put up for rent and then taken down very quickly, as somebody definitely fucked up there, and has been excluded from the recent kit launch. All his footage and photos and video, etc., has not been put in it, and also had his promotional pictures for the kit taken down at the stadium and at the club shop. Make of that what you will. I believe that is all the news so far for today. Just before we go, is there any standout young centre-backs coming through in England? Cresswell's one of them. Obviously, he's English. He's not playing in England, but he's English. And then as far as any that I know of personally, I know Wellesley Lucky at Liverpool is highly rated. Outside of that, yeah, I'm not too sure personally. But yeah, that is the majority of our news today. If you've enjoyed our live stream, then please give this video and this live stream a like for when it goes to the VOD after. If you're new around here and you like the content and you want to be kept up on daily Liverpool news, there is usually 2 to 3 streams a day going over Liverpool subjects, discussing the topics, and then bringing you the news the best way we can. Then please hit subscribe and turn on the notification button so you know when we're going live. For you guys, it's free. It's only a little click, but you have no idea how much it means to the channel and the growth. And it's really rewarding to see that the lads and my hard work, is going to you. So yeah, it'd be really appreciated. So there is a lull in English talent centre back. Then your majority of your decent centre halves aren't playing for the top clubs. Your ball playing centre halves are playing for the top clubs because they tend to dominate the academy games. Your better centre halves are coming from your lesser clubs where they're spending more time defending during the under 18s and 21 games than they are on the ball. So yeah, usually they come from like your lesser clubs and they get a big move. So yeah, really appreciate it if you've watched and you've joined us. Thank you so much. As always, I have been your host, Ryan. Really appreciate you joining us. I think you're going to have a stream very soon where we're going to go over some breaking news regarding Alexander Isak.